Hey Dynamo Nation, what's going on? My name is James. Thank you for being with me on this episode today. If you're new to the channel, new to Dynamo Nation, welcome. I appreciate you being here. If you're not subscribed, please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Definitely helps out the channel. We're making that push to 1,000. Let's get to it, Dynamo Nation. Today we have another Dynamo Nation subscriber team video breakdown. Today's team was submitted by Court Blatz. Court, shout out to you. Appreciate the support, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. Let's throw the first table up. We could take a look at the league structure for Court, and we can see right off the bat, this is a 12-team league, 20-man rosters. We are looking at PPR scoring. Again, this is a Dynasty league. 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 tight end, and then 2 flex between running back, wide receiver, and tight end. So a pretty standard setup here. This team went 5-9 in 2021, so definitely a disappointing season. But the great thing about this team, and I went back and forth with Court a little bit through email, he has some nice, solid pieces on this team, but he is loaded with draft picks. And I mean loaded. Let's take a look at the draft situation for this team. You know, we can see right away, he's got a lot of picks already in 2022. We're looking at picks 1-4, 1-6, 1-7, 1-9, plus 2 seconds and a third. Fast forward to 2023. My man Courts is sitting here looking at 3 first-round picks, 3 seconds and a third, and he's already stacking picks in 2024. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third. This is what I love to see. I love to see us balance those draft picks out. It's great to load up. I love loading up on draft picks, but it has to be the right draft. And I like what Court's done here. You know, when you think about it, 22, 23, 24, we're looking at 4, 3, and 2 right now in terms of draft picks. So 9 first-round picks spread out over 3 seasons. I like it a lot. So with that said, we're going to get a little bit of draft strategy later on in the video of what I think Court should do. But let's take a look at his roster right now. Let's see where it's at, see where we can improve it. First, we're going to take a look at quarterbacks. Court, I said it to you in the email, buddy. This is it. This is the position that you're going to have to address immediately. You know, you got Jalen Hurts as a starter. I'm not really high on him. He scored a lot of garbage points. I don't think he's going to be around as a starter for much longer in Philly unless he dramatically improves that quarterback. And then, honestly, your backups, you're better off starting Uncle Rico, rostering him as your number 2 QB. Because that's basically what you got. You got Jalen Hurts and Uncle Rico. So, I mean, there's not a lot. There's not a lot to like about your quarterback situation. This is definitely the weak point of the team. Hurts, I feel like, is going to be out of a job. I don't think that Philly is going to stick with him long term. I mean, he only had a second-round pick invested in him. That's not a lot of draft stock for an NFL quarterback. And, yeah, they gave him a year to see what would happen. He got better as the season went on, I guess. But still, there was way too many throws that he missed. I'm not sold. You know, as a fantasy player, as a fantasy quarterback, great. Trot him out there. Let him get all those garbage points on the ground. And, you know, he's a nice scoring quarterback for us. But in real life, I'm not seeing it. So, yeah, that it's good. Let's get that bad part out of the way. It's only a 1 QB league, 20-man rosters. We can fix this pretty quickly. So let's move to the running back situation. That looks a lot better. We can see right away, Court's got 2 nice players. And it depends, obviously, on health for J.K. Dobbins. But if you're looking at Antonio Gibson and J.K. Dobbins as your 1-2 punch, I like that. Both young players. And I don't care what anyone says, Antonio Gibson had a down first half of the season, but this is someone who played through a fractured shin. I want you guys to think about that. A fractured shin, he didn't miss a game from it. I will take that every single day out of my running back. If you're going to come out there and play through an injury like that, and remember, this is his second full season playing running back. He was a receiver in college. Antonio Gibson is only going to get better. Everyone who jumped off the ship is regretting it right now. I can almost guarantee you. You know, he still finished with 1,000 yards on the ground, over 40 receptions. He's learning the position. This is his second season. And as that offense gets better, as Washington finds a quarterback or upgrades that quarterback, improves that line, Gibson's only going to get better. I really like Gibson as your RB1. And then Dobbins. In a run-heavy offense, you know, we've seen Devontae Freeman, damn near 30 years old this season, putting up RB2 numbers on the back half of the season as a starter. Dobbins is very talented. Unfortunate that he caught that injury. He should be fine for the start of 2022. You're sitting really nice at that 1-2 punch. And then I really like Khalil Herbert. We're going to see what happens. Nagy's out. Pace is out in Chicago. They're the ones who drafted David Montgomery. Montgomery's had 2 seasons of being very inefficient. And he had 1 season where he kind of popped off at the end in 2020. I don't know. I mean, to me, Herbert looks like he's got the juice. So we'll see what happens in Chicago. New management might come in. Montgomery might not fit their style at all, right? And if he doesn't, he could be trade bait. He could be cut bait. Who knows? They may like what they've seen in Herbert. To me, Herbert's someone you hold and stash right now. Let's see what happens in Chicago. And then your other running backs, you have Ronald Jones, Nyheim Hines, players like that. Raheem Mostert. Mostert, I don't see it. Obviously, with what San Fran did this past offseason, addressing the running back, Trey Sermon, Mitchell. They still have JaMychal Hayes. They have so many running backs. I'm not trusting a San Fran running back to save my life, to be honest with you. And then the other two, to me, there's better options. There should be better options. So I'm not losing sleep over either one of them. All right, let's take a look at receiver. This is the strength of the team, 100%. You can see right away, my boy Justin Jefferson sitting there as the number 1 receiver on this team. I mean, it can't get much better than that. Maybe Jamar Chase. Second receiver, DJ Moore, who I like a lot. And then the third receiver, Rashad Bateman, another young player who's up and coming. I like Bateman a lot. Our struggles here are going to be wide receivers 4 and 5 on this team. We're looking at Jamison Crowder and Kendrick Bourne. Now, Bourne, I like this the past season. He was getting involved. And if you believe in Mac Jones, maybe Bourne's a player that you keep. And let's see what happens. Jacoby Myers as well in that offense. Let's see what happens. I may not give up on Bourne so quick. But for me, Jamison Crowder, I used to love Crowder. PPR leagues, he was great, under the radar type player. But with, you got more there. You just seen Braxton Berrios go off. I'm not so sure. To me, Jamison Crowder is a drop. But again, when you're looking at a receiving tandem of Justin Jefferson and DJ Moore, you could do a lot worse. You're sitting pretty. And to pair that up with Gibson and Dobbins, that 4 starters right there between your running backs and receivers, I like a lot. A lot. Like, there's a lot to build off over there. Your biggest issue is the depth piece. We have to build up the depth, especially with a 20 team. Like, this is a shallow roster. 20 players is not very much. And I know it's a 12-team league, but we're going to have to get much better players on our bench. That's probably where you went wrong this season, and that's probably why you struggled, was your bench play, I guarantee, was pretty atrocious. Your starters, I think, if they were all healthy, you would have been right there. But that bench play was pretty bad. So let's move to tight end. And, he's got one of my favorite young tight ends. As much as it pains me to say it, being a Browns fan, but Freiermuth, I mean, he's a really nice young tight end. Like, you look at his upside, his upside's immense. And people slept on him this last draft. And I think that was because of Kyle Pitts. And you know how I feel about Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is a generational type tight end, but Freiermuth is a really, really good, solid, dependable tight end. You look at CJ Uzomah. I like him as a tight end too, especially in that Cincy offense. Play the matchups. There's going to be games where he might pop off, especially against teams that can't cover the tight ends. And then Ricky Seals-Jones obviously is a drop. We're not going to worry about that. Let's look at our cornerstone pieces for this team. For me, there's a lot of good talent on this team, but the 2 names that stand out, I think you can guess, the 2 names I've been gushing about, Antonio Gibson, Justin Jefferson. Those are the players to me to build around long term. Gibson, again, second year, he's gotten better. Second full season playing running back. He just showed me his toughness playing through a shin fracture all damn season. And then obviously with Justin Jefferson, there's nothing really to say. He's an absolute monster. Those are your 2 players to build around. 2 cornerstone pieces. 1 at receiver, 1 at running back. Lock it down. And then our next wave of players. And this is where it gets exciting because you do have really solid starters the rest of the way. We're looking at a DJ Moore, J.K. Dobbins, Rashad Bateman. I love all 3 of those players for your team. Freiermuth, I like a lot at tight end. And then obviously Khalil Herbert I just talked about. And then Uncle Rico, man. Uncle Rico's that next wave.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains? Yeah.
I'm just messing around there. But for real, those first 5 players, there's a lot of talent there. A lot of young talent. That's the nice part about it. And you look at that 1-2 punch at receiver between DJ Moore and Rashad Bateman. If Bateman continues to progress, and to me, DJ Moore is a really rock solid wide receiver too, if you have those two going as your receivers 2 and 3, that's nice, especially if Bateman takes that next step next season. And if Dobbins is back to health and you compare him with an Antonio Gibson, and Dobbins to me is a borderline RB1 too, and I only say that just based on Lamar Jackson taking TDs away, but that's a really great 1-2 punch as well. It's just what happens when we get beyond them, when we have to factor in injuries or bye weeks, COVID, like all that stuff. That's where your team's gone wrong. We have to build up that depth. So you have great pieces. I like your cornerstone pieces. I like the next wave you got. It's just, what are we going to do, right? What are we going to do to improve this team? And my offseason strategy for this team is pretty simple. I'm looking to upgrade quarterback, and I'm looking to upgrade my bench situation and flex. To me, the number one move to make, having all this draft capital, is to package up that 1-9 and a third-round pick with Jalen Hurts to move up for a quarterback. And not move up in the draft, but to move up to go get a player like a Joe Burrow, a Dak Prescott, a Justin Herbert. That next tier of quarterbacks outside those elite 3 or 4. You need to lock that position down. You cannot go into this season when Jalen Hurts is your starter. You are asking for trouble. And to me, Joe Burrow, with those offensive weapons that he has, the Bengals are going to continue to improve that line. They have to. He's probably the one to go get. I think he's going to ascend into that next tier. I think he's going to be good for a very long time. Tethered to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. He's got an ass ton of weapons put around him. It's crazy what they've put together down there. And then Dak, to me, is the most underrated fantasy football quarterback in the game. The guy just puts up numbers. And then Justin Herbert, he can do it all. Like, this is the next wave. And I think if you can lock that down to go with those 2 running backs, your 2 starting receivers, and even Freiermuth at tight end, that's a nice young core right there. You still got Bateman for 1 flex spot. And then the beauty of this is you still have picks 4, 6, and 7. I mean, and for me, looking at your draft picks and looking at the way the board typically goes, we can kind of guess, those first 2 picks, Breece Hall, Spiller are probably going to go 1-2. RBs always get pumped up. That's just the way it is. And I would not be shocked to see an RB go into a great situation that gets vaulted into the number 3 spot. It happens every year. They climb every season, right? And what if that were to happen and you're sitting there with 4, 6, and 7? And let's say 1, 2, 3 is RB. Man, you're going to have Traylon Burks, Garrett Wilson, Jameson is going to be sitting there, David Bell, Drake. I mean, you're going to have a crazy amount of elite receiver talent to pick from between 4 and 7, right? You can almost book in 1, 2 is going to be those running backs, regardless. And even if it doesn't, even if it's Burks that goes 3, you still have Wilson sitting there at 4, who's going to be an absolute monster. You're going to be able to pick your receiver room apart in this draft. 4, 6, 7, I'm going receiver all the way. All the way. But imagine, like, if you can Justin Jefferson, a DJ Moore, a Traylon Burks, with Rashad Bateman, with David Bell, with Jameson, like, just imagine that receiver room. You are going to be loaded at receiver. And what does that mean? That means in drafts 2023 and 2024, you have that position locked. Don't have to worry about it. And then if you can trade the 1-9 with Hurts in a 3rd or maybe a 2nd and go get Burrow or Dak or Herbert, what does that mean? Your quarterback room is locked. With Dobbins and Gibson, 2023, you got 3 first-round picks. That's going to be the RB-heavy draft. You can go in and lock down your RBs in 2023. And maybe Gibson or, Dobbins ends up becoming your 2nd and 3rd best RBs. Or maybe even your 3rd and 4th best RBs. Who knows? But that's the way to structure your team. And if you could pull it off like this, man, you're going to be sitting pretty. That would be my offseason advice and strategy for you. Take that 1-9, take Hurts, take that 3rd round pick, 2nd round pick, move up, lock down quarterback, and go wide receiver heavy at 4, 6, and 7. Lock that room down, put a bow on it, forget about it. Lock your quarterback down, put a bow on it, forget about it. You've already got 2 great running backs. You're going to add to that in 2023. And Freiermuth, like I said, he as a young player, as a rookie, he looked really nice this year. He got overshadowed by Pitts. But Freiermuth, to me, is a really solid, dependable tight end. And if you remember that tight end video, they develop. It takes time. I'm willing to give Freiermuth time. I'm not looking, if I can get a Mark Andrews, obviously, or even a Kyle Pitts, a Kittle, then yeah, you're going to do it. But don't press that issue. Just let him develop. Let him develop. And who knows, 2024, that might be the season to go out and upgrade that tight end. But the way your team is looking right now, I think after the 2023 draft, you're going to be ready to roll. I think you're going to have a year this year where you're going to be very competitive. You'll win more than 5 games if you address your quarterback and your receivers. You're going to win more than 5 games, obviously. You've got good running backs. 2023, you can lock it down. I would be very excited if I was sitting in your situation right now. So, all right, Dynamo Nation, that's going to be it. If you're liking this type of content, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to do one more round of these subscriber team breakdown videos as a giveaway coming up soon. If you're liking these, stay tuned. One more giveaway is going to come around. I think this is our 4th video. We still have a few more to go. If you're wanting something like this done for your team and you don't want to take the chance, check the Patreon link down below, because I'm going to start doing these on Patreon as well and putting this as part of the tiers. This is going to be basically a private video just to you that I'm going to put out on Patreon. So, all right, that's going to be it. Everybody have a great week. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. See you.